Hello, listeners. Welcome back yet again to another edition of your favorite, probably, some of you your least favorite, podcast of the week. Coming at you live on a Tuesday. This is the Dirty and Driven Podcast. My name is James DeVinny. I am your host. Joined today by the beautiful, lovely, talented. He's waving at me to bring him in.
Yeah, did you need me now?
Yeah. Casey Anderson.
How are you?
Doing well, man.
I'm checking the weather radar. Sorry, I'm not ignoring you, but we got some nasty stuff coming in here in about an hour and a half.
Oh, do we really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know.
I think they're calling for it like 80 and 90 mile per hour winds.
For real?
Yeah, it's like up there northwest of us.
Damn.
Probably at the Kansas border right now.
We better get off this rickety, get out of this building with a rickety
roof. If this
roof.
terrible Wi-Fi from this area we're at would work.
Are you connected to the studio Wi-Fi?
via the people we're renting the space from?
Yeah. And by our Wi-Fi, I mean the Betcher DeVinny Engel Wicker Law Firm Wi-Fi.
Staff,
BDIW staff.
Yeah, I'm going to have to take Wi-Fi off and just go straight up 5G.
5G, baby. Yeah.
It's the war into the G.
So anyways, that's probably the best intro of a show we've ever had. Welcome to the Dirty and Driven Project, guys. We are excited to have you here, coming at you live from our new studio in beautiful, lovely downtown Ponca City, America.
It's going to hit during our podcast. It's at the border right now.
Oh, no. Southern border or northern border?
It's nasty. Look at that.
Ooh, tasty. We're only going to get a little bit, though.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll get a lot in a little bit of time.
That sounds like my love life.
You and every other married man.
Yeah.
We're just going to get a small piece.
But speaking of
a crumb
on a separate deal also, do you feel this?
Yeah, we finally got our air conditioning fixed after bitching about it on the show for what, 3 weeks, 4 weeks? I don't know.
This is awesome, man.
That's what happens whenever you say you're going to pay rent.
Yeah. They start taking care of the place.
Yeah. They're yet to receive a check, but
I've offered, man. Trust me.
No, I know. We're working it out.
I sat down with the landlord and said, "Hey, man, dude, we know it ain't no free ride. We'll make it right."
He hasn't sent a goonie after me to break my knuckles yet, but he's thought about it, I think. But we're getting there. Speaking of that stuff, I just want to say, guys, thanks for listening. If you're new here, most of you are not, but some of you still are fairly new. This is our Tuesday episodes. We do 2 different show types. Tuesday, which is me and Casey, we're ripping on whatever the hell we want to talk about. Usually end it with some sort of a topic to add a small amount of value to your life, maybe. And we have our Friday episodes where we bring a guest on. Sometimes it's in person, sometimes it's over the phone, but we just try to bring in top-notch people from all over the country. Just want to say, follow us on social media at Dirty and Driven if you don't already. If you like the show, I just want to say a couple ways that you can support us, because we don't run ads on this show. We don't ask much from our listeners, but I do ask for a 5-star review. Help us grow. It really helps a lot whenever you leave 5-star reviews. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, especially. Those are the 2 major ones, but whatever your favorite podcasting platform is. Also, if you want to support this show, leave us a tip in the tip jar. You can go to our link tree on all our social medias or attached in the show notes, and you can click just the tip. And you can give us whatever you want. $1. $1 goes a long ways. If all of our listeners gave us $1, we'd be doing pretty well. Some of our listeners give more than that. Shout out to my boy Spencer. Gave us $50. Gang, man. I'm very appreciative of that. And I'm very appreciative of his support as a listener.
You know how many starving podcasters you could feed for $50?
Well, probably not very many, because that's not even a down payment on the soundboard.
Still, though, man, that helps. That's awesome.
It helps a lot, man. That really, I mean, we're trying to piece together the studio just one piece at a time. We went from 2 old desks and some shitty microphones to 2 old desks and some $high microphones. Then we brought in this badass table. And we have a badass table with some really shitty bar stools. But we got sound foam, and we're working on more bar stools. So
you said one piece at a time. Have you heard that song "One Piece of a Time" by
Johnny Cash?
Yeah, dude.
Buddy.
And you know the idea behind it, right?
Yeah.
He worked at a car manufacturing plant for like 30 years, and during the 30 years, he'd sneak out parts in his lunchbox.
His lunchbox and his buddy's camper.
I got 51, 52, 53, 58, 59. I'll take it one piece at a time.
Yeah, I love that song. That's a bop.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, so that's kind of what we're doing.
Sorry I messed up your flow.
Oh, you're good, man. We're flowing. Oh, it's getting dark outside.
Yeah.
Oh, that wind's whipping the building across the street's plastic windows that they have up right now.
And remember, people, during inclement weather like this, there's going to be a lot of opportunity after this. A lot of opportunity for work to help people out.
Yeah.
To mitigate damages. That's when the money's to be made, is the initial mitigation.
Mitigate damage, rape the insurance.
Justified. You can justify it.
Justified rape.
Damn.
That's whipping. Also, shout out to our boy Rex. Gave us $20 in the tip jar. I appreciate that, man. Rex shouted us out on another podcast, which I talked about on previous show, Sweat and Grime, and I appreciated that. And then he threw us $20 in that tip jar. So
I guarantee you Rex is a good dude, because my brother's name's Rex. So
I've never met a Rex I don't like.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. So they're all cool, man. So appreciate it, guys, seriously. And also, the offer still stands. If you want a free sticker, just let me know. I will mail you one literally anywhere in the world. I don't care. Just send me an address. DM me, or lately a lot of people have been reaching out on the website. They've been going to the contact us page, and they've been emailing it in like that. That's a great way to do it, because the DMs are getting full, and sometimes I miss those. So either one works pretty well. But yeah, just send it in. Dude, big things are coming for Dirty and Driven. I'm not going to go into too terribly much detail in this episode, but I just want to say we are officially actually like a business, trying to be anyways. We're not just a podcast. We have some really cool stuff we're working on, some great content, some great programs. Just keep your eye on our website, stuff like that, and just keep supporting us. I really appreciate it. Also, as far as stickers go, the tip jar, all that, like I said, just put $1 in if you feel like it, especially if you get a sticker. All I ask for a sticker in return is a 5-star review. And if you want to put $1.50 in the tip jar, it costs a couple bucks to send those out. So it's always appreciated. But 5-star review. Come on, baby. Let's see it. All right. Enough advertising. Casey, who did you went and saw somebody over the weekend, didn't you?
Yeah, we went to the Burt Kreischer Fully Loaded, or it's one of them cool sounding tour terms.
Nice. Oh, was that good?
Names. For the first half of it, it was great, but we left after the first half.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I sent a review to the Paycom Center today whenever they reached out and said, how was your experience at the Paycom Center? The Paycom Center happens to be where the Oklahoma City Thunder play.
Right.
It used to be the Chesapeake. Mm-hmm. I got floor seats for us. We stayed at the Courtyard Marriott right next door. It was it's right next door.
Living it up, yeah.
Yeah. Well, and the prices were fair. I was surprised we got a room that late in the game. I can do you a quick little breakdown of our experience. You want to hear it?
Yeah.
Oh, and I got some video too that I was going to show you. So we get there, beer time, right? Mm-hmm. And there was Bud Light in the house. I saw that in a couple spots. There seriously was not a lot. I was kind of checking it out. Not a lot of people in line, but
I've got a note on that. Okay, carry on.
They have a lot of. I haven't been to these venues in a while. They have a lot of the coolers with all of your beer choices right there, and you can either get it at draft, you can go up to the bars, or you can get in this line to where the lady will ID you. Then you put in your credit card or whatever, and
ding,
and they'll take out your 2 beer maximum off your credit card, and then that'll allow you through this turnstile to go up to the cooler and grab 2 beers out. Right?
Oh,
Yeah, and it's all your choices. Well, in line, there's a bunch of not open refrigerators, but clear refrigerators to where you can see. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking for Coors Light, right? And there was one Coors Light left. I mean, just one lonesome Coors Light left by himself. But Bud Light stacked to the gills. All of this other stuff. There was some Blue Moon left. So I went for the Coors Light and the Blue Moon. Yeah. One for me and one for my wife. Yeah, but you still had Bud Light for days. But I took a video of that. I was going to show it to you just how. Well, maybe they just restocked Bud Light. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm not going to give them too hard of a time, but it's still going on. Anyway, we get down to our seats. We walk down with our 16 or I think it's 20 ounce.
The tall boys?
You know the ones with the big mouths, the screw tops?
Yeah.
Perfect, because you can take a drink and put the top back on. Don't have to worry. We walk all the way down to the floor, and right once we're going down the floor with our 2 beers, my wife she also got a Sprite and a water with tops on, just a little backup. Right once we get down to the floor, the guy goes, "I'm sorry, you're going to have to pour all of that in a plastic cup."
Yeah.
And we're like, but so we got all these people standing behind us, so I'm in a hurry. I take this beer that's already starting to get a little warm, and I crack the top off, and so I just dump it into the cup instead of doing the old pour, to keep the foam from the head. So, dude, it took me like 3 or 4 minutes just to get a beer poured. I was sucking the foam. I was just trying to hurry up. I was making comments. We get to our seats, and our seats are halfway up the front or halfway up to the back, depending on how you're looking at it. And they're in the middle, and every single one of these seats, this is no shit, and I left this on the review for Paycom. The seats are smaller than seats on if you're on an airplane. Mm-hmm. If you're just on a regular airplane, not on first class, and the shoulder, they were smaller than that, and they were like welded together almost to where they were clicked together.
They usually zip time together or something.
Yeah, dude, and I'm not a small guy. I mean, I'm a big. I mean, if you look at, I'm for America, I'm a bigger guy, right?
Stocky,
but I'm a bigger guy.
Yeah,
I was next to like a 6'6", 6'7" dude, and whenever we got to our seats, excuse me, when we got to our seats, he was sitting there kind of regular with his legs spread a little bit, and he's a wide-shouldered dude, and I'm not a small guy by any means, but I kind of had to sit sideways just to cover my little span. Then my wife, it was the most uncomfortable. That was on our mind the whole time during this whole venue. But with that being said, the DJ that ran the show, the production dude, the comics that we saw while we were there, which fortunately I got to see Mark Norman and Tiffany Haddish. Have you ever heard of her?
I'm not familiar, no.
Dude, every single one that we saw, that was the first half, were amazing. I mean, it was a blast. But then they did a quick intermission before they brought up the second half. And we're old, man. And I just gotten off work that morning also.
So you were tired.
Gotten off work that morning. I went and picked somebody's lock out of their cabin.
Like you were working nights the night before?
Yeah, so I got off at 5 in the morning. Somebody locked their keys and their wallet in their cabin. So I went out and picked the lock for them. And then I did went home, got about an hour's sleep, then we loaded up, went to OKC. So I'm making excuses here, but I was already kind of tired.
Yeah, no, I know.
We checked into the hotel. We went and ate at Fuzzy's Taco. Have you ever eaten there?
Oh, yeah. That's a Stillwater staple.
Yeah, dude, damn good. But, and then it started at 7. The DJ ran for a while, then he did a set, then it was 8:30, 9. It was 9 or 9:30 when they did intermission. And they still had 5 more comics to go and Bert Kreischer to wrap it up. So we were looking at midnight or midnight 30 for these old people that...
So you were just tired, huh?
Yeah, we were wanting to, drink and hang out. But we were even looking at the nosebleeds, maybe moving and going up to the nosebleeds just to be comfortable.
Yeah.
But during intermission, I looked at her. I was like, man, I just want to go back and relax, stretch out, and just enjoy the hotel, and just enjoy this one little night off. Mm-hmm. She goes, if that's what you want to do, I mean, I'll do. So we went back and we hung out, and I peeked out the window and I kept looking because the Paycom Center was right out my window. I could see the doors, and I looked at 10 o'clock, nobody was moving. 10:30, nobody was coming out yet. 11:30, nobody moving. It was midnight 45 before the whole show was over.
Really?
And I'm making excuses, but man, when you're old and you're tired, and you know that nice bed with the AC cranked down is waiting for you. That was my long-winded answer on.
Can't do it like you used to, huh? I thought that you were going to say Bert Kreischer went into some political rage that you hated or something like that.
No, he'd never do that. He knows his audience.
Yeah, so you didn't even get to see him, huh?
No, but we had seen him last year.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, we went and saw him, and he did his typical take the shirt off, and like right at the beginning of the show, and also he did the machine story at the end, which everybody that's the machine story. Yeah, it's the kind of like the nursery rhymes that Andrew Dice Clay used to do. Everybody comes for the rhymes.
That'd be like, Led Zeppelin playing Stairway to Heaven.
Yeah.
Like, you just kind of expect
all right. I mean, I know what got you through the door. And plus, he's got that new movie out, which we've yet to see.
Isn't it about the machine story?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny. You went to that. I know another guy that went to Dave Chappelle's, my oil rep my asphalt oil rep for where we buy our oil from. I won't say who he's with because I don't know if he cares or not. But yeah, he's a cool dude. He was telling me, he's like, yeah, I went and saw Dave Chappelle over the weekend. I was like, man, that's a different speed because I was at Taylor Swift. You were at Bert Kreischer.
Yeah.
But that's funny.
I was going to give you shit for the Taylor Swift deal, but
you've seen Taylor Swift.
Yeah, but I was going to say I took my daughter to the BOK Center in Tulsa and saw it. It's a great show. But what gets me about here, Taylor, very successful. She does that thing each time, either in between songs or during the songs, to where when she'll sing and then when she's done and the crowd's like, yay, Taylor, she'll do the dumbfounded, oh my God, I can't believe you got in between every single song, like it's the greatest thing in the world.
Yeah, I could definitely say that. You can see the passion.
Really sells. And
dude, she was crying in between some of the songs.
Dude, even better. See what I mean? She's really selling.
Like, there was one, she was like, I don't know, she was sitting there at the piano and she was talking about some, like, everything she's been through the last couple of years, like re-recording and trying to own her own music. And she's like, I just couldn't believe the support. And dude, but I will say this. So, hands down, I was the only straight dude there that wasn't a dad. I literally, everybody else I saw there, and I mean, I was with a group of girls. So, I think that there was probably suspects of who I really was, but I was there with a group of girls. I didn't see one other just like regular dude there. Like I saw a lot of guys wearing like Swifty Dad shirts, stuff like that. But anyways, it was a hell of a show though. Well, I will say that.
If you were a single dude and you wanted to go, navigate and maybe test the waters, that Taylor Swift show would be perfect to go to.
See, okay, so I thought about that was
not for the little girls. That's not what I meant, but I meant all the moms.
Right. Oh, the moms. I think so. So, dude, there was a mom in front of us. She was getting it. She had like 3 little girls with her, and the little girls were like getting tired towards it. Taylor Swift played for like 4.5 hours. You talk about ending at midnight.
Yeah.
She ended at like midnight 30. Yeah. I mean, it was. I could not believe how long that show was. I think it's supposed to end at 11. She played till 12:30. And there was this mom, she sang every word to every song. Like, I didn't know most of the songs. Yeah. I was just kind of hanging out more than anything. But I'll say, of all the concerts I've been to, all the rock concerts, this is the best production I've probably ever seen.
Yeah, dude, when we went, and this was probably 4 or 5 years ago, she did the deal where she got and she flew over the audience and had the big stairs, and it was a castle at one time. The sets, it was all different sets.
Yeah, see, that's where I'd love to know how they do that. How they that's where I want to get like her stage manager on this show or something, because that's building like.
Yeah, whenever she came over the audience, I remember she started out. It would be stage right. It'd be the left if you're looking at the stage. Mm-hmm. She started out stage right, came straight out there. All the way around the back, she did a U and came up stage left, and then singing the song above you, and
that's cool. Deal. I didn't know that. So because every album or every era, she had like 4 eras that she did. She had a different stage, but it wasn't just like some props. I mean, I'm talking buildings. Like I'm talking 3-story. Houses without walls on them.
When you said different, I thought you were going to say different boyfriend. That's what she had each time.
Okay, so funny part about that, Taylor, and I'm getting to a point here, Casey. But another little side story. Taylor Lautner was there, And I guess I didn't know. I was one of her boyfriends, but I don't really know shit about Taylor Swift. So she was releasing a music video, and she's like, well, today she's like, this is the first airing of the music video, and I want to treat it like a Hollywood film party. And so she airs it, and it's got like Taylor Lautner and 2 other actresses that I guess are pretty big name that I didn't have any idea who they were. But she's like, well, and as part of a film party, you usually bring the cast on stage, right? And like all the girls in the crowd were like, oh my gosh, like they were like suspense. And then she's like, and then she brings Taylor Lautner on stage.
Oh yeah.
I have never heard a crowd that loud in my life. I literally plugged my ears. It was hurt. Like it hurt to listen to those just high pitched screams. Yeah. It was crazy.
Have you seen him in Grown Ups 2 or 3?
I think I only saw the first Grown Ups.
Well, the second or third, whichever. I think it might.
Which one's the one where they peed in the pool?
Well, it might have been that one.
It might have been 2. I think I did see.
Well, Taylor Lautner was the college frat boy that was trying to fight, David Spade and all those guys.
Yeah,
and he was doing all of his capoeira and stuff, and he'd do backflips, and he was hilarious in that movie.
Yeah, I don't remember that movie very well. I probably haven't seen it since middle school.
I'm thinking it was that.
Yeah,
could be wrong.
But anyways, it was still a cool show. Some people were giving me shit, but surprisingly, like we have this old hippie truck driver where I work, and he's a cool dude. I want to get him on the show. But he comes up to me and he goes, I seen on Facebook you went and saw Taylor Swift. I was like, yeah. He goes, man, I don't know a single one of her songs, but she just looks like she'd be cool to see. I was like, yeah. Mm-hmm. But where I was getting with the whole Taylor Swift thing, you were talking about the Bud Light at the comedy show. Yeah. I'm pretty sure all they had was Bud Light at Taylor Swift.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's your demographic, man.
They had like the Bud Light seltzers. Now, I mean, they had like some of the other common seltzers. Like, I think Truly was there, but Michelob Ultra, which is obviously Anheuser-Busch. But I don't think Michelob's dipped too much. I think people are still buying Michelob, but yeah, I saw a lot of people drinking Bud Light there.
Well, just like Modelo is like the top selling beer now, and Modelo is still or was part of the Anheuser-Busch deal.
Oh, really?
Is it? Yeah, it's Modelo.
Yeah.
Was Garth Brooks there too? Since he'll sell Bud Lights at his bar.
He will.
Yeah, have you heard that?
I know. I haven't really followed it.
I like Garth Brooks.
Does Garth Brooks have a bar?
I guess, but he came out a couple weeks ago during the initial Dylan Mulvaney deal and said, I think anybody should be able to buy Bud Light. He really made a stance that he's going to sell it at his bar.
I mean, if I was a bar owner, would I just stop stocking the shelves? Probably not. I'd still try to sell it to whoever wants it. But
I get that, dude.
You know what I mean? I wouldn't make a big stance about it. I'd be like, you want a Bud Light? Just okay.
Sign off, G.
I mean, there's a lot of products that I don't necessarily agree with their politics, but I still buy them.
And he calls himself G. He always signs off G.
G.
Self-appointed G.
Self-appointed G. You might turn that light on behind you. It's dark in here now. The clouds.
Dude, I like the ambiance of the soundboard there.
I feel like I'm playing a show right now.
Dude, you were mentioning
like my pedal board's lighting up and.
Oh, those lights they're all right actually.
Yeah. Well, I didn't think they were going to suck.
You talked about Taylor Swift. And I said, man, that's a perfect spot for a single guy to go meet women.
I disagree with that statement.
Well, I'm talking about what I'm getting at is no competition.
Oh, yeah.
And there's I'm doing a setup here, dude.
Okay. Sorry.
With that being said, when I went to UCO in Edmond, I had this one roommate, and one night he pitched to us that he wanted to go to a gay bar, and the gay bar was called Angles in Oklahoma City. And Angles, I ain't gonna say his name, but people close to me know. And he was like, I'm thinking about going to Angles. They've got silver beer tonight. And like, dude, isn't that a gay? He goes, yeah, man, but the great thing is you go there and you have no competition. I go, what do you mean? Because it's a gay bar, so a lot of regular girls go there, and that way you have a chance. And so me and my buddy Clay and some others, we apprehensively went. We had a few drinks. We're like, all right, dude, let's just go. You stay close. So when we went there, we went up to the door to pay. And remember, it's silver beer night, and we're not even sure what the hell silver beer is.
Is that like coin beer?
Yeah, so we go up to the door. The people are we go to buy beer, and we bust out $1 or $5, whatever the price is, and they're like, "No, it's silver beers," and we're like, "No, silver beers." So we had to either do dimes or nickels, get some quarters, something to play along with the silver beer game, but. It was actually fun. It was like a techno the whole night, but yeah, the no competition deal reminded me of that crap.
Were there any girls there?
Oh yeah, there were girls, and there was a guy that I played baseball with his brother, and I'll just say his name's Jeff. That's all I'm gonna. And he was there, and. Nothing wrong with it.
Were you sitting there doing the Spider-Man thing?
No, he was doing the things with the hands. He was dancing in front, doing the you can't see me hands, but doing fast, doing that crap. Hey, Casey, what's up? And
dude, this is why we need cameras, guys. Donate, please.
But yeah, but dude, when he was doing that, and we were there just for. But this guy was there because. He swung that way, Yeah. Nothing wrong with it, but it's one of those, dude, what?
Well, that's what I'm saying. The Spider-Man meme, where they're all three looking at each other. Like, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? You're like, whoa.
I had a creepy thing happen also, and so did my buddy. So we go into the restroom, to the urinals, right? Guys use urinals to normally, pee. So when I go up to the urinal, there's about 3 guys leaning up against the sinks.
I'm already terrified of what you're about to tell me.
It's not bad, but
okay.
They're leaning up against the sinks, kind of like they're waiting, right? So when I go in, the 3 urinals are open to use. So I walk in, I go, "Oh, hey, y'all," I gave the old y'all can go ahead, and they're like, "Nah, you're good, go ahead." So, because I had to piss, right? Mm-hmm. I go up, and they were leaning up bullshitting, watching the guys, from the ass end, take a piss, and there were posters and flyers on the walls of it was a trip, man.
Interesting.
That's okay. You just get up there. You can go pee. It's like, hurry up, dude. Hurry up, piss. Hurry.
I'll tell you what sucked about the Taylor Swift concert is there were no men's restrooms. They replaced all of them in Arrowhead Stadium. They were all women's. I'm sure there was a men's one somewhere, but nowhere where I was sitting. I walked all around that place looking for a men's restroom and finally found a family bathroom. And the line of the 12 other dudes there was all using it at the same time.
Really?
Yeah, dude, it sucked.
That's odd.
It was just a one-holer family restroom. Well, I mean, and then I did find a men's bathroom later, as we were leaving. It was in a different part of the stadium. And I walked in, and it's it's an NFL stadium bathroom, toilets everywhere. And I walk in there, and there's 4 other dudes in this giant bathroom. I was like, yeah, okay, I see why it's all women's bathrooms. But it was funny. Never mind, I'm not going to tell that story.
Oh, come on, man. I told my stuff. Come on.
So there was
in trouble. You can edit it out.
I'm not going to get myself in trouble, but it's there was this group that sat next to us. I was sitting on the edge of our group. I was there with my wife and 3 other girls. And I was sitting on the end in the middle of the row. Well, there was another group that was coming to sit next to us. Well, they were all sitting in the aisle, talking. I mean, I'm wearing I'm wearing white skinny jeans that I wear for my, whenever I play on stage, whenever I play bass in my rock and roll band. And I'm wearing my wedding suit, which was a lavender coat and a cowboy hat.
Did you have the sock in?
The sock in?
The old stuff sock?
Oh, no, I didn't.
You didn't go?
No.
Right, okay.
No.
Say, not the venue.
No, not the venue, no. And they had their token gay guy in that group because every group of girls except for ours had their token gay guy.
Oh yeah.
And they're all sitting there, and he comes and he's the one who sits by me. And I was like, and I didn't say anything I said hi to him or something, how's it going? But I didn't talk to him or anything like that. Well, then I just lean over and I'm just casually talking to Victoria, and then she grabbed my hand, we were like holding hands, and then he just like looked at our hands, and then he just like turned around to one of the other girls in his group, and then they immediately traded spots.
Yep. This place is dead.
This place is dead.
Oh no, he didn't.
Yeah. It was an interesting experience.
Yeah, you were kind of, I don't know about flaming, but your outfit, you were kind of screaming something.
So I don't know, man. It was just one of those things that I was just going to wear what I'm wearing now, jeans and a t-shirt.
But you embraced it.
But yeah, I embraced it, I guess.
But nobody, when you go to a wedding, you don't dress better than the bride. And you dress better than Taylor Swift when you went there. You stood out.
And I can't help that.
Yeah, you stood out.
Well, it's one of those things that like if you're wearing jeans and a t-shirt at that I've been to Kiss concerts. I've been to Kid Rock concerts. I've been to those concerts where people dress up and really get into it.
Yeah.
But like most people are still just regular. Like there's a lot of people dressed up, but there's a lot that are just there.
Right.
Not a single person wearing just jeans and a t-shirt at that place. Like they all had on, men, women, dads, everybody had on like a Taylor Swift shirt, or they had on I've never seen so much pink and glitter in my freaking life.
Yeah,
dude.
but you also had that shirt on. I
heart hot moms.
Yeah.
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 That makes up for it.
Yeah. So I could see.
That's not flaming, dude. I heart hot moms.
Yeah, but you're dressing better than Taylor. I could see the bouncers or the roadies that work for her, like coming and removing you, telling you got to take off that hat and that blazer and turn your shirt inside out because no one dresses better than Taylor.
Dude, on the real though, if we get like a Taylor Swift stage manager in here to tell us about just the construction of all their sets, I would be down for that. Or any just big name band. So, anyways, let's guess we can move on. Okay, so last show you talked about your Catholic calisthenics,
right?
And that was a big hit. Your Catholic calisthenics.
Oh, just the kneel, sit, kneel, stand.
I was told it sounded rehearsed. And now everything I say, I have to sing like this.
Have you ever been to one of those or seen?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've been to some Catholic masses.
Everything we say, we've got to do this. James and I are recording the Dirty and Driven podcast.
It's starting to shit and get with rain outside.
It's pouring. I wonder if hail is going to start hitting things. Did I roll my windows up?
I hope it doesn't hail because it's already hailed a lot of times this year. Okay, we've had enough of that.
Yeah, so it seems like there's when you do that, I don't know if it's you get closer to getting a word in with the man upstairs. I don't know if it's like a passcode if you do the kneel, sit, stand, kneel, right? Because it kind of reminds me of the cheat code on You ever played Contra? Contra was big. I think it was big on Sony PlayStation. And in Contra, you could get an endless lives. If you did, it was up, down, left, right, B, A, start. And if you entered that in right at the opening screen before it went into the game itself, then you wouldn't have just 3 lives. You would have unendless lives, and you could conquer the deal. That's the way the Catholic calisthenics made me feel. Is maybe if I just did it right that one time, then I'd be able to.
You were like stand, kneel.
Kneel,
communion,
sit, stand,
kneel, sit, stand, kneel, communion wine.
Oh, dude, speaking of that, I'm glad you brought that up.
Okay.
So here I am, 4 through probably 12-ish when I was really going, and I went to confirmation. I do the Wednesday night stuff. Can't remember all that. But I was a kid, dude. I was like 6, and I was getting in line for communion. Well, at least at this Catholic church, they had real wine there.
Yeah, they all
in the
do.
chalice. Well, no, but check this out.
They weren't taking IDs?
You do. They had the body of Christ that had the old cross stamped on it, and you'd eat that. Then immediately after that, you would take this chalice or whatever the hell they call the cup. Ooh, that was blasphemy because I said it hell next to whatever they call the cup. And right after you would eat your round cracker, you would be following somebody that a long herd of people that just drank out of this chalice.
Yeah.
And the priest would take his little rag and he would wipe off where they just drank. Then he'd give it to you, Dude, I remember a ton of times when I'd be drinking this dark red wine that there would be floaters of crackers and shit in there. And of course, I think that's why my immune system is so good, because drinking after everybody, during communion.
I got that Catholic immune system.
Yeah. But I went to other churches to where their crackers were, that's what I ought to do, is I ought to go on a tour and like rate the communion, because their crackers were good and they gave you actually individual, it was grape juice, man, but it was good stuff.
The Gordon Ramsay's communion tours.
Yeah, like Anthony
This
Bourdain.
is bloody fucking awful.
Yeah. Diners, drives, and dive-ins, or what Guy Fieri does. All right, we're here at the Episcopal Church on Grand and 14th. We're going to go across the street to Presbyterian Church and catch that 11 o'clock service.
Dude, that shit's so funny. Diners, drives, and... Oh, dude, I can't. No, I didn't know. So I wasn't raised Catholic, but I had a lot of friends that were Catholics. Every now and then I'd go to mass with them, if whenever I was younger, if I'd stayed the night at their house or something. And yeah, I didn't know what to do the first time I went to communion. So I just like walked up there, and I didn't know what the flip was going on. So I just walk up there and I see everybody putting their hands out, and they give me a cracker, and I eat the cracker. I was like, this is the worst piece of cardboard I ever ate in my life. I didn't know I didn't eat the cracker. I held it. I was like, I don't know what this is, because it looked like a piece of cardboard.
It was cardboard texture too.
And I was like 12, and I was like, I'm not going to drink wine. So I just went back to my pew, and I asked my friend, I was like, what do I do with this? It looks like a little Band-Aid that you get whenever you have a shot. And they were like, you eat it. I was like, what? And they're like, it's a cracker. I was like, oh.
One good thing, one positive note on that is you could go to Saturday service and get it knocked out Saturday. That way you didn't have to get up early Sunday.
I have, I've talked about my faith a lot on the show, and I am a Christian.
But hey, way to bring it home. Way to bring it in.
I am not a practicer of the Catholic faith, and I'm sure most Catholics can laugh at that. I have nothing against Catholics, so.
A nice disclaimer. Be sure to leave that one in there.
No, I mean, I'm just saying.
I know you're bringing it home.
I'm not. I mean, I have a rant about not Catholics themselves, not the people of the body, but about some of the leadership. I will keep that one to myself right now, because this is a construction podcast, and we've done nothing to talk about construction so far.
But we're not going on a script here. And another deal too. Have you ever heard of a guy named Stephen Lynch?
I don't know.
He's a comedian that he sings with a guitar, performs in front of people. His voice is top notch. He's amazing, but he's got a song called Altar Boy.
Oh no!
And you can imagine.
I think I've heard that. I think I've seen a clip of just that song.
And he's got another song called Craig Christ. It's Jesus Christ, brother Craig. And he doesn't turn water into wine, but into cold Coors Light. Yeah, you got to hear those. If anybody out there wants to hear some good stuff, look up Stephen Lynch, man.
Stephen Lynch.
He's amazing.
There you go.
All right, get into it. Where's the segue?
Where's the segue, dude? We need Paul Blart for that segue.
That's a good one too.
Yeah, it was a bad joke. Mall Cop. Well, we talked about grown-ups, season grown-ups, so there you go. There's our segue. Yep. Paul Blart, segue, grown-ups, Mall Cop. Now we're here at our topic of...
What is it?
Communication.
Speaking of communication, I got you earlier on that. I communicated to let you know I was going to be about the time, then I let you know I was going to be 5 minutes late. So I communicated that. So when I was just about here, you're like, oh, you.
I said, shit, I'm on my way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was packing orders.
Yeah.
And I lost track of time.
Better than packing fudge.
Better than packing fudge. Oh, I was packing up some of these fresh, dirty, and driven t-shirts.
There you go.
Yeah. Sending a few of them bad boys out. They are still not up on our website, but I truly, dearly hope that they will be by the time this podcast airs. But they may not be, because I have a lot of shit going on right now. So, hey, on a note on that, communication. Here's my communication. So, some people have reached out about stickers, and hopefully yours is on the way by the time this airs, because I'm knocking a bunch of them out today. But I just want to say, if you ask for a sticker, just know that being that's a free sticker, it might be a while. Sometimes I get them out the next day. Sometimes it's closer to a month. So just keep that in mind if you ask for a free sticker. But it's free, so it's not on the top of my priority list because I do work a full-time job, more than full-time job in the construction industry, and we do have a lot going on here, and we have a lot of other things that people are paying us to do. So
you want to hear a sneaky thing
that's my communication.
on that? Is when you see a good ad, whether it's on Facebook or one of them sites, great looking ad, buy it and you buy something for super cheap, right?
Yeah.
Then you kind of, it ships tomorrow and you kind of, oh shit, yeah, and you look in your mailbox, but you can guarantee that after 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, it's coming.
Slow floating from China?
Yes. And I'm thinking that's kind of why you have a little bit of the China bug in you for whenever you're slow shipping. They're like, damn, is this stuff coming from China, the dirty and driven?
Well, what happens is, so people say, I want a sticker. Well, I've gotten good. I have an organized list because I've sent out hundreds of stickers. And whenever I send out a sticker, I don't just put your name on an envelope and send you a sticker. I mean, I write a handwritten thank you note, thanking you for supporting our show. And that is something that I love to do. So I take the time to do that. And each one of those letters, I mean, it's not just a thanks for supporting. I mean, it's a personal thing. Don't believe me, then ask for a free sticker. But it's a personal thing, and I send it, and it takes 5-10 minutes to do one. And whenever you've got 50 people on a list and you can knock out 1 or 2 a day, I mean, obviously it takes a while. So
if we can, let's get a pre-populated thing from me, or like a stamp to where you can stamp my just, hey, thanks for the support, Casey. Just
yeah. No, I agree.
I think that's sufficient enough for me.
Yeah, something like that.
People know I love them.
Yeah. You could get a stamp of your mushroom. Just mushroom stamping.
Nasty. That I keep getting these mushroom bruises on my inner thighs, man. I don't know what the hell's going on.
Okay, communication. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, you can cut that out.
That's staying in there, man.
Boom.
Boom.
As it's pouring outside.
Just did it again. It is pouring outside. It's pouring outside.
Pouring.
Oh, okay.
Man, I was thinking of something while you're talking too.
Yeah, so communication. We'll try to add a little bit of value to your lives because we haven't done any of that so far. But, man, communication's important. And I think that communication, the reason I thought about this topic today was because I was talking to a superintendent for a company that I work with. And he was saying how... He was just talking about how like they used to do all these meetings back in like the 70s and 80s. He's probably 80s, 90s. He's in his 50s. And he's like, man, we used to always meet like every Monday. It would just be the foremans and the project managers. And then we'd meet. And then we'd also do this update. At the end of the day, we'd fill this out and blah, blah. Now we don't do any of that. And I had another guy who's like in his 70s. Who's still working, and he goes, yeah, man, it seems like back in the day, we communicated better before we had cell phones. Now it's worse. So I think communication is such an important thing because we are overwhelmed with communication. We've got phones, emails, computers, watches that people can call us and text us on. We have more forms of communication than we've ever had, ever. And yet it's almost like we have no communication. And we forget to communicate, or we communicate poorly. And I think whether you're a contractor or an employee or just a manager, something like that, I think that if you optimize your communication in any level, in any job you have, if you can communicate clearly and effectively, you're a standout. So if you're communicating, who would you communicate with? You communicate with your clients. You communicate with employees. If you are an employee, you communicate with your boss.
Potential customers.
Or
but also to add on to that to family and friends too. I mean, this is a across the board communication.
Yeah, you have to communicate to everybody, and your wife, your kids, everybody. You want to communicate clearly because I think that there's such a communication breakdown anymore because we think, I can text them if I need to tell them something, or everything's on an iPad, but I don't think that that's still the most effective way. So I think that just learning how to properly communicate with people makes you stand out in whatever you're doing.
Well, ideally, you have clear and concise. Hear how I enunciated concise?
Concise.
It's important you have clear and concise communication. It can get lost in a text or an email. That stuff is great. For one, you can never over communicate.
Yeah.
But sometimes the clear and conciseness, I don't know if that's a word, can get lost in text types or even voicemails. A lot of times you can't do it, but check this out. But a lot of times you can't do it. But if you can do face-to-face, great. But a lot of times you lose context on what exactly you're talking about.
Yes.
And people might read one thing one way when you didn't mean it that way at all. And if you had the big picture and articulated it well, then it'd be different.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's super important because like if you text somebody or you email somebody, and if you send an email that's 3 pages long, dude, I ain't reading that.
Yeah.
You might have every step by step of how to make $1 million, but like,
well, there might be a time to do that.
Yeah, there's
a time and place.
Yeah, and like, okay, if I'm setting up a job to go work for the state, a government job, they need 10 different letters of different things. Nobody's going to read those letters, but they're there so that way you're covered. I mean, which kind of different, but that's still communicating that, hey, we're going to lower the speed limit. We're going to ask for approval on this. And I mean, how many people are going to read those? I don't know, not very many, but you're over communicating your plan with those letters of getting approval and all that. Whenever you fill out a contract, that's a form of communication to somebody. But I think still the best thing to do, like, one thing that pisses me off anymore is how easy it is to weasel around stuff. And maybe it's always been like this, but I hate whenever somebody's like, well, we're going to tell them this reason and we're going to do that. And they try to go on this big elaborate thing instead of just telling God's honest truth. So you lose clear communication and transparency if you sit there and you say, well, we can't make this job because we've got 3 other jobs going on and are this, that, and you just try to like make up a roundabout like thing rather than, oh yeah. Casey's communicating that he's opening a beer.
And what am I drinking?
What are you drinking? Iron Monk, Stilly Wheat.
Iron Monk with the Pistol Pete on there.
Yeah, Pistol Pete, go Pokes.
Pretty good stuff.
So, but yeah, I think that like employers and managers are getting this wrong a lot though. I think that as an employer or a manager, the number one place you can communicate is to your people. Like, let's say you have a crew. Let's say you work for a construction company and you've got a crew of over 5 guys. Anywhere 5 to 50 guys that are going out and they're going to go work that day on one job site. Okay. I think where employers can do better is they can communicate to their people better. Okay, here's the plan. And whenever you have your morning meetings or your weekly meetings or your pre-work meetings with your crews, I think that anymore, a lot of times companies just tell the foreman, hey, you're going to go to this job site and here's a set of plans and you're going to go knock this out. We got a GPS for you. And the people in charge, the foremans, the superintendents, those guys know what's up, but the guy holding the shovel at the bottom doesn't even know what you're doing. And I ran into this whenever I was just a laborer. It'd be like, oh yeah, we're going to go to this road and do some patching. And I thought that just meant we're going to cut some asphalt out and put it back and we'd be done and gone the next day. Dude, it was like a month-long job that was patching and doing a 2-inch mill and 2-inch asphalt overlay on like 4 miles of road. I didn't know that. I didn't know that for like a week. I just sat there holding a stop and slow sign. And I didn't know that it was right next to a wind farm and that big trucks were going to be coming in all the time and that there was a train that ran through that I needed to stay so far away from the train tracks to be safe for when it does come by while I'm flagging. Like nobody communicated that to me. And that comes down to training as well. But before that job even started, what I wish would have happened is they could have sat everybody down. They would have said, this is where you're going. This is the kind of job we're going to be doing. These are the hazards you need to look out for on that job. Here's who's going to be running it. Here's what we need to do. Here's the equipment we're going to have on the job. And here's the expectations for you on this job. That'd have been clear communication. It would have taken 5 minutes to address everybody just in the most basic ways. And I'd have known what was up.
Yeah, there's a lot of management, and I deal with that too. There's a lot of management that think a lot of that stuff, and sometimes they're cocky, sometimes maybe not. They're ill-advised or ill-thinking, but they think things are on a need-to-know basis. And that little peon that's in the hole with the shovel, fuck, you don't need to know. He's got a job to do.
Yeah.
But man, the more you can, and being the bottom of the totem pole, or not a lesser employee, but you know what I'm saying. Being
the lower end guy, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
That doesn't mean that it's not important to you too. If you don't need to tell them everything about the accounting department and how you did your bids and your estimating and where you got the material, but at least give them an idea of how long the job's going to last, what the things entails, the troubles you might come across. And hey, that's the gist of it, guys. I mean, I know it's kind of quick. There's more involved. If you have any questions, man, please reach out to me, man. I don't want you to feel like this is mundane and we don't care about you. Just shoot them straight like that.
Yeah, and what sucks about lack of communication on a job site too is if you're out there and a problem happens, like one time we ran out of oil in our asphalt plant whenever I was working as a laborer, and we had to shut down the plant. It was, okay, we're going to finish laying this. Oil's out. We had to end on a short day, and everybody was kind of pissed because we wanted our hours that week. And it was like everybody was yelling at the plant operator, like, oh, how'd he let the silo run out of oil and this and that? Well, there was a fire at the terminal we get oil. Nobody told anyone. It was just, yeah, he's out of oil. That's all we got. And it was like, you heard that through the grapevine. And it was just like, so you're pissed because you think that it's poor management, lack of decision making, stuff like that. But it was an outside source. And I think that there's a lot of times, or you communicate to guys on a job that they may want the best piece of equipment for a job, or they may want the best person for a job, the best laborer for this job. But sometimes you just stick someone out there and you're like, you get this piece of equipment, go. But you don't give them any reasoning or communication. And then they're all pissy because they're like, whoa, blah, blah, blah. Or they take more equipment or more people than they need to do a job, and you don't give them any sort of reasoning as to why and how they need to build it. And so now you're losing money because you didn't communicate on the front end that, hey, I bid this job with one backhoe, an operator, and a laborer. But this guy took out a backhoe and a skid steer, 2 operators and 2 laborers, and now you're losing money because you have twice as much going on than you needed, twice as much fuel burden, twice as much travel time, and because you didn't communicate with that guy. And then you're mad and you're showing up all pissed off because you didn't communicate with him what he needed to do and why he needed to do it that way.
Well, there's a hierarchy in businesses to where people need to be held accountable for not letting their entry level laborers and the ladder going up from there. No. And so I just talked to Johnny that works in the hole, and he said that the reason why, because no one ever told him, dude. And I'm talking to you now because you're his man, you're his supervisor. Mm-hmm. Why didn't you, articulate that to him? Well, dude, you need to. I mean, if stuff starts happening like that, or the wrong equipment's being ordered, and people, when it comes down to money, people need to be held accountable for not doing their job.
I believe that, especially whenever you're talking money, whenever it comes to communication. But I mean, ultimately, when you're talking communication in a business, the end bottom line, number one, tangible, seeable, feelable thing that you see is money at stake.
Yeah.
If you are a poor communicator, you might lose customers. If you're a poor communicator, you might lose. And I have a story for that here in a second of kind of my own mistake. You might lose customers. You might lose employees because you may have work stacked up out the ass, but you're slow right now, but you're not communicating that, hey, 3 weeks from now, we're going to be rocking and rolling like nobody's business. I know it's slow right now, but if you don't communicate that, you're going to lose your people, and your people may go out and do things you don't want them to do because you didn't communicate, or do the wrong job, the wrong stuff. Communication's vital. One time, there was a company that I saw. It was a traffic control company. They're supposed to stripe a road. Well, there were 2 roads that they were striping in the same town, and one of them was ready. One of them had not started, even been constructed yet. Well, their employer told them to go stripe the road in town, and they went to the wrong one.
Yeah.
Because they weren't told.
Yeah.
They didn't know. Myself, one time, I had a guy. Now, he was a little bit of a needier customer, but this is where different communication for different types of folks. He wanted his driveway paved. And I laid out a very clear schedule before we even started. That's another thing. Be clear and be honest with your communication. And I said, we are 4 months out before we can do your driveway. And, he's like, oh, okay. It's been rock for 15 years since I've lived here. I can live with it for another 4 months. Well, as soon as he signed that dotted line, he wanted it done right now. And he got mad, and he's calling me, he's texting me. Well, when are you going to be here? When are you going to be here? And so I texted him. I just said, hey, right now I don't have a clear date of when we'll be there. This is what we have going on. We have some other jobs that are in front of you that we have to do. And you're in line. And then that was it. I didn't say anything for a while. Well, a couple weeks goes by, and he gets mad. And he texts me. He texts me. And he says, when are you guys going to be here? I really just need to know a schedule. I feel like there hasn't been enough communication on your end. And maybe he was right. I thought he emailed me, so I emailed him back because he sent it while I was driving, and I read it. And so I get back to I email him, and I guess he didn't check his email, and instead of texting him back, and the next day he says, I found somebody else who's going to do it. You're fired, basically. So poor communication can lose you customers. Now, was he a customer I really wanted? I don't know. But I could have communicated better and made him happy, I think.
Yeah, there's not a one size fits all. I talked with one of my previous supervisors today. There's not a one size fits all for everybody. And ideally, if you send out an email or a text or tell somebody verbally, which that's pretty short, that they'll remember it. But you almost have to treat each person with their own. Don't assume that this person's on this level of communication. Don't assume that I shook your hand, Jay. All right, dude. Next Monday, sweet, dude. Don't assume that. And the same supervisor that I had, which it's a great deal that he did. At times it was annoying, but it worked. If something happened, he would say, hey, did you get a hold of so-and-so and let them know this happened? Yeah, I called them. Well, what'd they say? Well, they said they're going to look into it. Or no, I couldn't get a hold of them. So, all right, well, did you shoot them a text? Well, no, I left a message. I don't want to shoot them a text. All right, did you shoot them an email? And he would literally, when things happen, now this is on the extreme side, he would literally phone call, voice message, text, email, phone call, try the business phone, try the cell phone, try the home. That's a psycho way of doing it. But what I'm talking about is covering all your bases whenever you're trying to communicate with somebody. I know it could be a little annoying. Don't assume that since you sent the email that the communication chain, it's called the communication handshake where I work. You're shaking it. Okay, don't assume, hey, did you happen to get my email I sent you earlier? Yeah. Send them that text. Yeah, I saw it. Thank you. Okay, just making sure. All right, everything cool? Don't assume just because you flew it one way to them that they got it. Yeah, so there's a lot of people I work with because, especially the old guys in this industry, man, they are forgetful some bitches. So like a lot of times I'll call somebody on the phone, I'll talk to them in person, I'll have a conversation, and then I give it a little bit of time. If I see that they got it, good. If not, I'll follow up with an email or a text. Some people want to be texted. They don't want you to call them. They don't want to answer the phone. They don't want to talk on the phone. They ain't got time for it. They want you to strictly text them. Some people do not know how to text to save their life. They don't want you to text them. Do not text them. Call them. Leave them a voicemail. Me, I do not want you to leave me a voicemail. I don't mind if you call me. But sometimes I get pissed if people call me. And it's like, settle this in a text, settle this in an email. There's different kinds of communication in that regard. And I think another place that communication is really important is on the employee side of things. So let's say you are an employee and let's start off small. You've got a doctor's appointment coming up.
Nothing makes an employer more mad than whenever you come that morning, you say, hey, I have a doctor's appointment at noon. Can I get off for that? And it's like, how long have you known about this doctor's appointment? You've probably known about it minimum 3 days. You've probably known about it for weeks. What? The doctor didn't call you at 6:30 a.m. to tell you have an appointment. You've known about it at least since yesterday. Why didn't you tell us then? Now we're kind of fucked for the day because you're gone and we didn't make plan to shuffle things around and we need you here. And you don't deny a guy's doctor's appointment, obviously, but you say, yeah, go, but you could have done this better. So that's on an employee side. If you want to be a standout employee, give plenty of notice. Or if you're going to take a vacation, something like that, give plenty of notice. Don't wait until the day of or the day before. Give as much time as you can so that way you are dependable.
Yeah.
Because that makes you look undependable.
Yeah, it's pretty good where I'm at. We could literally go the same day, and as long as someone's there to cover what you're doing or to fill the void that you're leaving, it's great. As long as there can be a one-off and maybe a two-off to where you do that or an employee does that.
Yeah.
But when it becomes habitual,
that's what I'm talking about.
And that's the same as even like with mistakes too. We're all flawed, erred. We're all human. We make mistakes as long as we own up to it. But when it comes to 2 to 3 times of that habitual stuff, last second notice, shit popped up, then there needs to be a sit down.
Yeah, well, and there's times where it's, hey, I'm trying to get it, but see, that's another form of communication where there's times where, hey, I just forgot to tell you, I'm sorry, it won't happen again. But that's not what I'm talking about. Yeah. I'm talking about you made the appointment weeks ago. It's been on the calendar. There's the stuff of, hey, I'm trying to get my son into the doctor. He woke up, he's sick, he's running a fever. I'm going to call them as soon as they open. I'm here until then. I'm just going to see if they can get him in today. And if they can I leave? Take him in, I'll come back. That's different. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the guy, but that's still another form of communication of, at first thing in the morning, hey, I'm going to try and call the doctor's office because either I need to go in or my son needs to go in. Here's what's going on. It was an overnight thing. But I'm talking about the guy that he's known about it for a while and he's just like, waits till the day of to say, hey, by the way.
Well, that's a piece of crap person. I mean, if they don't care enough for their employer and people around them, then that's just
Well, and I wouldn't even call them piece of crap. I would just call them careless and undisciplined. Because they don't...
That kind of falls a little bit with piece of crap, I think.
Yeah, it's turd. It's turd status.
And that starts to be not a cancer, but that starts to be shit. Then everybody, all the coworkers and the employer and everybody else starts to, fuck yeah, they chalk that up in the back of their own mind. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, okay. No, that's fine. Yeah, go ahead, take off. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. When you don't communicate, you put a bad taste in everyone's mouth.
Yeah.
So... I think it's also the same if you're disgruntled. If you have issues with your job, now obviously if the place just sucks and you want to quit, okay. But if you're the type of guy that floats job to job, you're probably not listening to this podcast, but if you have those guys, man, open up a conversation. Just go to your boss and say, hey man, this jelly just ain't my jam kind of thing. I'm not really digging this job too much. Here's why. If you have legit reason, maybe it's safety. Maybe you're like, I don't feel safe working here. Bring that up. Maybe it's you don't necessarily love the way you're being managed. Maybe you feel like your expectations aren't being met. There's a whole storm of reasons why you may want to quit a job. But I think that if it's just to the point where it's more of a slow burn, a grind, you're just every day you're starting to more and more resent getting out of bed. You don't want to come in and you're just tired of it. Maybe you like the work you do. I think that's where you need to go to your boss, especially in this industry, man. You need to go to your boss and just say, hey, I'm just not feeling it lately. And I just kind of need to talk through some stuff as far as why, some issues I've seen. Maybe you don't know about them, but I would really like to see them improved and, maybe, or here's my goals and I feel like they're not being met. I want to do this. I want to, and then you can have a conversation of, okay, this is how we can fix that to move forward. Or it just may be a deal where they say, yeah, sorry. And that's it. So.
Yeah. And if you're going to quit your job, there's instances, which there was one with me which I still I still verbally talked, but there's instances if you're going to quit your job, you can do like the old, it's either David Allen Coe or Johnny Paycheck, the old take this job and shove it. I ain't work. You can just no notice, the hell with this place. I'm out of here.
My favorite is the Peter Griffin. Angela, thank you for allowing me to have this job. It's been a lifetime of fun and memories, and I really appreciate the opportunities you've given me. And there's a large steaming poo on your desk.
Yeah, that's the backhanded job quit there. Yeah. But there's instances like that where you just, here goes roll up, because I use roll up a lot. You just roll up and go, which you don't need really an exit plan. Just get the hell out of there.
It's dragon season.
Or, dragging up, or seriously have that, whether you liked them or not, have that conversation of, man, I appreciate the opportunity. Mm-hmm. I learned a lot of things here, but what's best for me and my family, I got a position. And the best time to get a job, kind of like I talked to you, the best time to get a job is when you currently have one.
Yeah.
And let them know, I appreciate the opportunity. Maybe in the future, I'd love to, if things don't work out, regardless of that, thanks, I'm out of here. And if you leave on a good note, and a lot of times, even this town, even big towns or cities, it's still a small world in those environments.
It is a small world.
To where as long as you left somewhat respectful, even though things didn't work out, that door might be open to come back to, or it might actually open doors to other places because people will communicate with each other.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So, and that's actually a whole show I want to do because we had a listener
quitting
reach
jobs?
out. Yeah.
Really?
We had a listener reach out and he said, hey, well, I mean, either when it's time to move on to the next position or the next job. Right. And I think that that's a fair topic to have right now. Yeah. But we're not going to do it now because we're almost out of time. We're out of time, but we're going over because it's our show.
Who's cracking the whip?
It's our show. We can do what the fuck we want.
I'm going to tell you something about quitting the job. This is one of the best things of advice I got. I just say we're going to do a whole topic over it. Yeah, but I want you, this is short. This is short.
Okay.
But this guy gave me the opportunity it was framing and remodeling houses out in Stone Ridge, a real nice addition here in Ponca City. And we were doing this big, it was probably about a $500,000 add-on. I could tell you about it later. But he'd given me a bunch of work before then, but I had the opportunity to work where I'm working at now. Mm-hmm. Great opportunity for me and my family, benefits, the whole nine. And I took the job. Then I had to break the news to him that I wasn't going to be able to frame and do remodels with him anymore. And I felt bad. Because I cared about him, because he gave me a job during for me and my family during a pivotal time. And I had that talk with him, and he said a few words to me, and the few words have stuck. And for one, he took it well, which I was a relief. I mean, ideally but he said, Case, he goes, I think that's great. He goes, you know what's best for you and your family. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a good move. He goes, so more power to you. If things never work out, dude, you're more than welcome to come back. But man, I appreciate that.
You could have high and dried him. You could have you could have ghosted him.
Yeah.
You could have texted him, called him, just done it but what I've learned, especially with those hard conversations, because hard conversations have to be had, whether you're quitting your job, whether you've got an issue with somebody at work,
or breaking up with somebody.
Yeah, you're breaking up with somebody. Hard conversations have to be had at times, but I've learned that when you do them in person, you do them tactfully and you just communicate. Really, it's like we've talked about on previous episodes. You communicate the bare minimum information. You kind of give your reason, you give what's going on, you give your plan. They have always gone pretty well for me. Like, it's always been, you know what, man, I get it, and I respect the fact that you told me face to face. Yeah.
And remember too, which we talked about on the previous one, is mental health. We don't know if I had employees and they were quitting on me, which ideally I'd know a little bit about their personal life, just kind of the way they're blood pumped. But you still don't know what's going on behind closed doors or with their family situations and stuff. So if you were the employer, at least, respect that person, because ideally they know what's best for them, not you, just because you employ them.
Yeah. And speaking of mental health, man, that's a great thing to communicate too. If you're down, and I mean, we've talked about this on several episodes and social media posts and stuff, but if you're down, man, open up about it. Like communicate with somebody that, hey, I'm not right. Like I talked about a guy who came to me and he said, he just communicated, hey, if I seem like I'm off and I'm running a large piece of equipment, get me out of that. And he communicated that. He said, I'm screwed up in the head right now. I've got issues. And I'm not always myself when I'm at work. So if you see that while I'm running equipment, get me out of there. And I think that takes balls to communicate.
Yeah,
like
well, you know what your baseline or your normal best functioning person is, ideally, in whatever position that you're doing. Mm-hmm. I've dealt with 2 or 3 instances. I don't know if I spoke about this out on the pipeline to where I've gotten calls or certain situations while I'm operating pipelines, starting mainline pumps, stuff that, although there's fail safes in place, shit can still happen bad, to where I've gotten calls. Fortunately, people have been there, fortunately not, but I've had to literally, not seeing red, but the blurred tunnel of vision, everything was white noise. I had to step away from the situation for 10 or 15 minutes, go cool off, walk around, and get back into a good head state before I could get back and do my job properly. Mm-hmm. So if you see stuff like that that's coming on, maybe communicate that with somebody. Hey, can you step in and fill in for me? Realize that, but then whenever the times are right, come back in.
Yeah. Yeah. Communication is key. You know, somebody once told me the two kings of this world are cash and communication. And especially if you're a business or if you're somebody who's supposed to be paying someone, that's another great time for communication. You communicate by either paying them or you communicate by getting on the phone and saying, hey, I need you to work with me here. Or if you need paid, sometimes, I'll use this example. Sometimes a contractor or subcontractor might go to a general contractor and say, hey, I need paid quickly because I'm running out of money to do this job. I'm having cash flow issues. And if you can afford to pay me even just part of my work, I know you haven't been paid yet by the owner, but if you can pay me for part of my work, I would really appreciate it so we can keep this thing flowing. And if you have that conversation, now if you just call them up and say, I need my money, they're not going to give you your money if you act like a dick. But if you go and you have an honest conversation, they're typically going to say, okay, we'll help you out if we'll, in whatever way we can. Not always, but it helps. And vice versa. If you owe somebody money and you don't have the money to pay, I just ran into this, you better be on the line. So I think I told you about my shitbag renter recently.
Oh yeah.
And nice person. Well, rent was due, and we give everybody between the 1st and the 5th to pay rent, and it goes by. And after that, you incur a late fee. Now, if you text us and on maybe the 1st is on a Monday and you get paid Friday, and you say, hey, I don't get paid till Friday, I'll pay you then. Yeah, we're not going to charge you your late fee. Okay, thank you for communicating with us. Or, hey, I just had to pay for a bunch of my kids' stuff. I'm going to pay you guys on this date. If you pay us on that date, okay, great. This lady goes, 5th goes by, 7th goes by. All of a sudden, it's the 9th. And my wife goes, hey, did they ever pay? No. So we text them. It takes them a day to respond to us. And it's, well, here's what's going on. I can't pay rent this month. Blah, blah, blah. I lost my job. I got screwed over by family. The whole sob story. Right. Okay. But, I'm going to get you back next month. I'm going to, I'm looking for a new job. Well, then that month turned into a second month. And it was just the same thing, but there was no communication. So we started just getting more and more pissed off because it's like, she won't communicate with us. We have to contact her daily or whatever, however increments of time, every few days. And I sat down and I had this conversation with her and I said, cash and communication are king. Right now you have no cash, so you better be talking to us. You better be annoying us. You better be blowing our phones up. You better be telling us your step-by-step plan. If you don't, then you're gone. And she said, okay, I will. And we still had to harass her any time we needed a response from her. And she got the boot. because you can't communicate.
Das Boot.
Das Boot. Yeah, I mean, you got to communicate with people, man.
And although it's annoying, you can't over communicate. Although it could be psycho-ish.
Yeah.
Or if you did something verbal, I know we talked about it before, but try to get that in writing, whether it's on a pad with 2 people signing it or via text with both parties or email. Get it done. Hey, James, I know it sounds official, per our conversation earlier, you mentioned you're going to tear off the roof and replace that. Send, and hopefully you respond back, yeah, that's correct, Casey. Hopefully you can get it done, by March.
Yeah.
Bam. That's all you need.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely communicate that way. And like I over communicate on scheduling. Like if I tell a contractor, hey, we're going to need you on the 15th, I'll email, let's say I know 2 weeks ahead of time. If I know a month ahead of time, a rough idea, we're going to need you between the 7th and the 21st. And then it's like, okay, I need you now it's like, okay, it looks like we're going to need you on the 15th. You tell them on the phone, stuff like that. And then a week before, and this has saved my ass several times, I will email them again the week before, and it's like, hey, just reminding you we're going to need you on this date. And then usually it's followed by a phone call of, whoa, I don't know if we can get there that date. And you're like, well, we talked this day, I texted you, and it's like, shit, yeah, I guess I did tell you that. All right, we'll get there. And whereas if I would have just told him once and then expected him to be there, it would have been like, oh.
I think I do a decent job on communicating with people, especially if I'm going to renters or people's houses like that. Like I've got that job I'm going to go look at Monday. I told you about with the water department, and that's the best time for both of our schedules. And I do this, and like I mentioned with the guy, we're supposed to meet at 9:00. But I said, hey, man, I'm going to shoot you a text if you're cool, or I'll call you about 15 or 20 minutes before just to let you know for sure that I'm coming. If something pops up, I'll let you know before then. But just to let you know I'm on my way to make sure that you're free and you're going to be there.
Yeah.
Cool, man. I do that with everybody.
Yeah, and that's always good, man.
A lot of times I do that with you, too. I mean, we still on for 5,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I've wasted time before because I've had people be like, oh, I want a driveway quote. Oh, okay, great. Well, let's meet, okay, I got availability next Wednesday at 3:30. Okay. Yeah, I'm open. I'll be there. And then sure enough, I've had it. They forget to put it in their calendar or something comes up and they don't tell me and I get there but you call them before you leave and, hey, just want to make sure we're still on. And, oh, yeah.
Dude, that's a good practice.
It is.
Just I'm on my way. I'm about 15, 20 minutes out. Just want to make sure. Yeah, I'm around.
And I'm not going to lie, man, as far as communication goes, I mean, I love talking. Obviously, we have a podcast. I sometimes hate calling people. Like, there are times I call people and I just think to myself, I hope they do not answer and I can leave them a voicemail.
Yeah.
That is sometimes my mentality. Depending on who it is, what I'm calling about.
That's something I struggle with too. There's certain people I need to call and I need to get it over with, but that's the same deal I struggle with.
Yeah, and it's like I will call them, especially like if I'm giving somebody an estimate and I'm trying to like either give them an update on their estimate, like because I'm behind, or if I'm just trying to give them their price, but I know they're going to gawk at it. Like the other day I gave this cowboy church a price for a parking lot. They've got like 12 people in their congregation, and I just knew, I was like, they're...
Yeah, like, a chunk of money.
Like, I just knew that, like, there's no way. And so you give them the price, and you don't want to call them and talk to them, even though they're always going to be nice about it. They're going, well, thanks for doing it for us. Thanks for looking at it. We're not going to be able to afford it. And, but there's just like that part of you that's like, oh, please just let me be able to leave a voicemail and they not answer. And I just can tell them over the voicemail. And if they call back, I will answer any questions. But otherwise, it's just like, yes.
Well, hopefully verbally you can close the deal. You can sweet talk whoever you're talking to and let them know you're going to take care of them. But man, if you get it in that text, you get that communicate. I thought you said it was $1,500 over the phone, James.
Well, I mean, so what I do with people is like people that I'm iffy on an estimate. This is what I do. Like because I'd say I've bid in the thousands jobs.
A year?
Not a year. But
total?
Total. I mean, in the thousands. small jobs, big jobs, everything. And there's a lot of times that you can tell whenever somebody's just calling you because they're curious more than them actually wanting to buy.
Yeah.
And those are the people that I won't put too much effort into it. I'll take the measurement, I'll take pictures. I will work out a price for them, but I won't actually type it up into a proposal. I will call them and I will say, hey, it's going to be this much. And then they say yes or no, or I leave a voicemail, they don't answer. I save my hand notes. I save however I calc that, put it in a file, and that's it. And then if they call, and then some of them say, yeah, I am interested, or I want to take that before my board if they're a nonprofit or something like that. And then you type it up and you give it to them, and you still act cordial. You're still nice, Communication, I like to think of myself as a good communicator, and I think that wins where I work a lot of business, and I think that I'm a good communicator with Dirty and Driven, and that's why we've been able to grow a fan base, because I respond to everybody in the DMs. I write handwritten letters to people, and I make, if somebody wants to talk, I can't get on the phone with everybody who listens to the show, but I will still communicate with people and tell them how much I appreciate their support. And if they DM me, if they send me something funny, if they do that, I'm going to respond to them. So it's just like that.
There you go.
There you go. But yeah, communication is important. And, in the future, I'd like to dive deeper into like effective communication. I think that was a broad overview of communication. And maybe next week we go into a deeper of the focused communication.
Maybe not.
Maybe
I'm going to
not.
give you a quick example of communication, then we got to wrap this up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we're way over.
My wife will send me, hey, pick me up some green beans and some pasta. I'm going to cook some spaghetti. Cool. So while I'm there with the other grocery list, and this ain't dogging, this is real life what I do. And if she was on here, she'd tell you the exact same thing. I go there.
Probably.
No, she will, because we discuss this all the time. I'll go there, and then I'll be where I live. It has a bad cell phone signal, so I'll take a picture of green beans, and I'll text it to her. I said these, and then it shows that it's sending. It hasn't even sent, and I got shit to do. Was it cut green beans? Is it split green? Is it this green bean? Is it this? And is it the big can of green beans? Is it the small can of green beans? So what I'll end up doing is, with green beans or the pasta, I don't know if it's the fettuccine pasta. I don't know any lasagna.
And the mozzarella.
Yeah, the shows and cheese. I don't know if it's, so what I do it all the time. I'll buy 4 or 5 cans of different green beans because the shit doesn't cost that much.
Yeah.
And I'll do the same with the pasta because my stuff hasn't floated through good. My telephone call didn't do good.
Oh.
And I didn't know if it was a small or if it was a quart or a pint or a gallon. So I'll come home with, she'd be like, why in the hell did you buy 4 or 5? Well, because I didn't
specify. Yeah.
And that's on a kind of different scale, but concise, clear and concise communication.
Victoria and I've had those conversations a lot too, as far as, I need you to tell me, because I'm not a chef, dude. I cook, but like whenever I was batching up, I ate grilled meat and vegetables for every meal. I didn't make recipes, and I didn't make lasagna, and I didn't make soups, and I literally grilled steak or chicken every meal. And Victoria will be like, okay, I need you to like, same thing, I need you to buy the green beans, or I need you to buy this, but it's like, well, I don't know what to buy. And then she's not answering her phone, or she's not getting it. And then you bring it home and it's the wrong one. And now she's like, well, you brought the wrong one. It's like, well, I didn't, you didn't specify,
Yeah.
So, and I see that at work too, guys will show up and it's, well, I need you to get me this tool. And then I need you to get me a hammer. And this happened to me, crusty old foreman. I need you to get me a hammer. Okay. And I come back with a claw hammer. God damn it, not a claw hammer. I need a shop hammer. And
a ball peen.
I didn't know what a shop hammer was, so I go back and I grab a different. He said, not that kind of hammer. I need a damn shop hammer. And he was talking about like a sledge, like a mini sledge.
Yeah, I didn't know what a shop hammer was.
I didn't either, but he didn't specify. Yeah. So he's hollering at me, and he gets out of his track hoe the second he gets his fat ass down the ladder and he goes over to his toolbox like, this is what I'm talking about. And I was like,
well, I think a shop hammer is subjective to which shop you're at, you know?
well, we were in the middle of a field, so.
Yeah. I don't think you can Google shop hammer. And I don't think there's a one maker of shop hammer. It's whatever the guy calls his shop hammer.
Yeah. It's kind of like the other day, somebody corrected me on Instagram because we call a lowboy trailer truck where we work, because we don't run haul trucks like off-road, big mine trucks, articulated trucks. We don't run those, which most people call haul trucks. We just don't do enough big dirt jobs like that to do them. It's mainly paving. And I called our lowboy move truck our haul truck, like a heavy haul truck.
Oh yeah.
And somebody said, by haul truck, do you mean a low boy? I'm like, yeah, by haul truck, I mean a low boy. Yeah. Sorry.
I love when people get you on technicalities.
It's like everybody knows what the fuck we meant. Obviously in the video, it's a low boy. There's a guy chaining a large piece of machinery down. I called it something else, a slang term from where I'm from, my neck of the woods.
Just like a sawzall. You know what a sawzall is?
Saw that saws all.
Do you know what a sawzall is? It's in the construction field.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
You do?
Yes.
What's a brand name for a reciprocating saw?
Oh, so it's not like the actual.
No, it's
like drywall or sheetrock. It's like sheetrock. Sheetrock is drywall.
Yeah. So like a sawzall is that's the make of it. You have Makita, you have Milwaukee reciprocating saws. But hey, go grab me that sawzall.
Yeah.
Some guy could be an asshole and say, what are you talking about? You talking about this Makita over here? Yeah, the damn sawzall. Well, this ain't a saw. It's a Makita reciprocating. You know what the fuck? You know what I'm talking about, dude? Yeah. Damn.
I need some Q-tips. All we have is a Quate.
Like, I'm surprised nobody called us out on us trying to sing Mr. Brownstone the other day.
I'm surprised nobody did either, but maybe we just don't have that many Guns N' Roses fans. Yeah, because that was definitely my Michelle.
Your daddy works in Bono.
Because Mama's not around. Yeah, that was bad, man. I can't believe. I can't believe we missed that.
We should have started. That's my favorite. We should have started off with "I get up around 7 and get out of bed around 9."
Yeah,
that's Mr. Brownstone.
That's Mr. Brownstone.
All right, dude.
All right, guys. I don't know if we communicated well, but we at least gave you an hour and a half of rambling. So hopefully, it helped ease the pain better than drugs. All right. Communicate with us by giving us a 5-star review. Love y'all, unless you hate us.
By God.
By God.